G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel Bonsai Works. I'm David. We have another little shimpaku juniper that you would have seen previously in my videos. I've worked on this probably 6 months ago or so, put it in an exhibition, and now it's actually grown quite vigorously, and there's a lot of, you can notice now the foliage is everywhere a little bit and a bit messy and so on. So now today's a bit of a, I want to clean up the tree, make it look a bit more refined. I'm thinking, is it possible to change slightly of angle? It looks a little bit like it's falling over at the moment. Maybe I'd like it to go a bit more that way, more upright. So I'm considering that change as well. It just means a manoeuvring in the pot, but that's a thought, possible thought to change. But a lot of this is now a refinement stage. When the tree's in refinement, it's all about keep it maintained. Keep improving it little bit by little bit by little bit. My biggest, I don't know what you call it, gripe about when I see trees being worked on initially, like they'll take a bonsai stock and make it into a, wire it, put some heavy wire on it, and there you go, you got a tree. Where's the next step? Where's the steps after that? Where's 6 months, a year's time? How do you get to the next level? I don't see much of that in the club that I'm in or around. That's what I'd like people to concentrate on, is getting trees to the next level and improving all the time. So that's always been my goal, is always improving a tree that you have. No matter how small the change or how insignificant it could be, even if it's just trimming a few bits of foliage, it's still improving the tree. So continuous improvement. All right, that's enough of me talking. But I want to have a concentrate on this tree. I want to see where we end up. I'm just going to look at possible angle changes. Haven't really wanted to change much, but if I change it a little bit, just trying to think, does it look better like that a bit more rather than this way falling over a little bit. I think if I come back this way a little bit, the trunk goes that way and it comes nice movement. The apex is more central, maybe that's an idea, and the gins are much more better positioned, and I can fit the apex in nice and tight. So I'm going to see if I can reposition that tree now in that position. It just means me tightening the wire that it's tied in with. I use copper to tie this one in because I knew I might have to change it in the future. So let me see if I can actually just tweak it to improve that angle, because it looks like it's, you see now, notice how it's like falling over. This way it looks a bit more upright and firm in the pot. It looks more solid. So let's see how we go. All right, that wasn't too bad. Because I used copper, it was easy to just tighten up the copper. If I used aluminium, I might have snapped it. But luckily, for some reason, I used copper to tie that tree in. Now the basis is there for me to just wire it. That was a nice, quick, easy change, but sometimes it's just that simple to make a quick change, just change of angle in the pot, and it totally transforms the tree. Now it's a matter of wiring this out. Just fine wiring a lot of it. I noticed that like I would have done a main wire along the trunk, I've noticed, but I haven't got any tertiary wiring done. So I'm going to have a close look at the tree, see if any wire needs to come off, and then rewire areas. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go away and start to wire and position things, and I'll show you where it'll be a bit of a progress update. Okay, so the main reason I'm doing this video is to show you how you can create an apex. Now, apex is the hardest thing to create on a tree, pretty much, I think. But break it down into, follow the same things that you've been doing in terms of fanning out branches, layering them, and where's the next level. So I'm up to about this point, and I've got this all wide, got this one wide, got this one wide. Now I've got this little section here that I need to focus on. Now it's all wide. I don't think I've put any extra wire on it. It's still the old wire from last year, but it's gone a bit unruly. Let me try and get in a bit higher so you can see at that level. So at that level is probably the side of the tree, and you can see how the top is messy and the bottom is beautiful, like it's quite nice and fanned out. But now we want to focus on the top. It's to be honest, it's a bit of trial and error. It's a bit of like, does this branch sit good? Does this branch sit good? Things like that. But it's about, yeah, one by one. So first off, you start at the bottom. This is probably the lowest branch that I've got. Now you've got to work out where does it fit in the overall design. Now, again, probably it's going to be very long, so I'm going to have to push it back in. So I pushed it back in to try and compact it. There's a little small branch at the back here. I'm just going to twist that back a little bit. So by pushing it back and compacting it, I'm hoping it's brought it in further in. So start by that one, then I pluck it as always. Same process, pluck underneath. And if there's something too long as well, pluck underneath to have clean lines. Unfortunately, these branches are just a bit too small, some of the sub branches to wire, so I can't really wire all that. So from this angle, which isn't the best, it looks okay, but I'm gonna have to look at it again later. So now that's that branch there. Put a little one in the back there. Now probably the tricky part, I put that one in there, which should be okay. That one gives it just a bit of angle, but this one is a bit of a concern. You see how it's sticking right out? Now it's a matter of where am I going to put him in? First things first, there is a bald spot in the back here, so maybe I can use that to fill in that bald spot. Okay, I'm trying to bring it back to the front. Now what I try and do is bend it on itself again and twist it back round to fill in that bald spot. Okay, now it's got a bit more of a, it's filled in the bald spot in here, and now we need just to thin it out. There's a lot of downward growing branches. Thin it out, make sure it's positioned well. Now in a way it's sitting in there, much more compact, ready to fill out. So that's our depth branch happening, which is great, which is really good, positive. It's a little bit long, so I'm just going to trim a bit off to a nice compact growth. Okay, where are we up to? Alright, so I can see something sticking out. What's that one? That's the top bit. Let's have a look where we're up to now. So we've gotten to a point where this one's okay. We just check the tree. Yeah, now we've got all to deal with all these in and around. So what do we do? Let me have a look again. So I need something in here. See how there's a bald spot in here? I need to block that, I'd say. So maybe I'll use him. This is where I keep saying there's trial and error sometimes. Does this work the best? So push him there. How does that look in there? Let me just have a quick look myself. So again, I'm layering at different levels, trying to do different levels. There's a nice little branch just in there, okay? He's just sitting in there. Now, this guy, I think, needs to fill in this gap in here. So, this little guy here, I think, try and get it to come back. Let me try. Okay there, I think you might be okay in there. So guys, it's easier if I bring it up to my eye level to have a look. So let's have a look. Starting to look okay, starting to get the levels, starting to get some sort of, yep. Now I'm in two minds whether I can use him as the central apex, or I've got a couple of back branches here. You can see the difference. So got him, or I can use these guys. So what I really dislike seeing, or what I hate, is when trees are styled and there's one pointing up in the middle, like just points straight up, and then people say that's the apex. Like that's not an apex. You need to make a crown. Okay, now these three I'll be able to use to make a full crown. And let's work on that theory. So with him, if you can have a quick, I'm trying to be as detailed as I can, so you can see how he's way too far forward. See how he's really far forward? Even the tree's forward, but he's really too far forward. So first bit, I'm just going to go back and then bring him forward. Okay. This is where maybe I need a couple of bits more wire, I can see. I'll get that sorted in a minute. Okay. So I'm trying to push him back and squeeze him down so he becomes shorter. Now with the back ones, I'll probably do a very similar process. Go back and shorten them and bring them down. As I said, sometimes it's just trial and error, getting them in the right spot. Because what ultimately you want to do is create a nice crown at the top with these branches. So you can see now kind of they're in the kind of the right place, but they've got this guy still a bit too high, so I'm just going to have a quick look for myself. When it comes to apex work, what you're trying to do is shorten everything and make it look more compact. Now I need to do some thinning, but I'm trying to get him in, but it's a bit tricky with this guy. I might have to sit him in there somewhere. So again, it's not perfect. It's not like every tree you treat them the same. You always got to do different things with different branches to try and get them in place. So still not in place, but there's a bit of a wiring I need to do. So I'm just going to quickly wire a couple of these branches and I'll be back. Okay, so it's a little bit still rough in here, but by trying to keep layers happening, you can see how now it's a full head. It looks like a helmet rather than a stick in the air. It's just using wire to manipulate branches and twirl them around. You got to think long term. Now this area here, what will happen is it will fill up with foliage, won't it? And it will just be a nice layer of foliage just sitting there. By doing that, that's what we expect to happen. And that's why you get the nice full crowns that look like on mature old trees. Now there's the tree, how it looks. That's a better angle. And you can kind of see a bit better how the tree sits. There's something sticking out. Where's that one? No, somewhere here. This one? This one? The littlest little foliage you can't even notice, it just sticks out. But that's alright. But there's a nice little shimpaku that we fixed up the angle of the trunk, and then we rewired the whole tree. Now, in a few months' time, I hope this will be start to fill in a little bit. Some of these pads will start to fill in a little bit and be perfect to be in the exhibition for the club that we're having on the 14th, 15th of May this year. 2022, but I'll have more information on that soon. But anyway, hopefully that explains a little bit on how apex are created. It's a bit young, but it still shows you the good lesson. Make sure it's a full head of wiring all the branches down and around and up, just to create that helmet, and then this will fill in. Think long term, and it will work. You will have to pluck a few things. This is frustrating, so I'm going to cut him off a little bit, shorten him. That's a bit better. It's probably this guy too. A little bit too long. Anyway, but yeah, creating a little helmet like that. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video and hope you like this little tree. Okay, talk soon. Bye.